We all have a story to tell.
Everyone has a story to tell.
Everyone has a story. Everyone has a story. Everyone has a story to tell.
We all have a story to tell.
The reason why I selected Pascha for Orphan Sunday is to raise awareness for the kids in Africa. I selected Pascha because she's a bright young girl and she wants to be a pastor when she grows up, and she likes to sing, but before then, she had a really bad life. She was in this tribe and terrorists came in one day and attacked her whole tribe village, and so she ran into the meadows. And so one day the people who came to pick up the kids picked up 15 kids. So she saw the bus coming by and she jumped on the bus, and they told her to get off and she refused. She said, I know if I go with you, I have a family, I have a home, and I have food. And we call her Little Mama because she looks after all the kids and she looks up to other ones. But the reason why I chose her is because I don't have a bad story. Mine's not as worse as hers. I don't know who my mom is, and I don't have a close relationship with my dad. But I hope that my story and Pascha's story can really touch your heart, and you can get more involved with the kids in Africa.
I'm here to talk to you about Orphan Sunday. Orphan Sunday, I have connected with this little girl named Pascha. Pascha and I have connected because she, as an orphan, whenever her parents have seen her, they saw her as a child with no soul. She basically had no type of emotion to show. She was starving to death, and her uncle, who left her because he said that she was a burden and that he just wanted her out of his sight. I too have a story, and my story is kind of the same, but it's not. I was raised by my cousins until I was about 3 weeks old, and they decided to adopt me. Yes, it's not the same, but I still feel her connection because it hurts to know that your family doesn't want you as you wanted it. I know that she has lost her parents to AIDS. I have lost my mom, to diabetes, and it sucks. It hurts that you can't see your parents as you want to. But as Pascha lives in Africa, I live here in the United States, and the United States Orphanage has other like me. And I'm so thankful that God has sent me because He's still writing my story, and I would like for Him to keep writing it.
Deacon has been at the orphanage since 2010. In 2004, a terrorist group attacked the refugee camp Deacon's family was living in. During the attack, Deacon threw his little brother on his back and ran to the forest, saving them both. Sadly, the rest of Deacon's family was killed. They tried to kill Deacon by throwing him into the pool, but God saved him. Deacon is now happy and healthy. He loves school and is doing very well. In his home at the orphanage, he is the oldest and is looked up to as a big brother. When asked by a visiting team what he was most thankful for, he said, I'm thankful that God saved my life by bringing me here. I thank God every day for the chance to go to school and to have a safe home. Amos was the youngest of 4 children and lost both of his parents to HIV. He lived in one of the poorest areas that the workers in Africa had ever seen. He had one pair of clothes that he only wore on Sundays. The rest of the time he had no clothes to wear. If he could work, he would work making bricks to sell to help make money for his family. Amos has been at the orphanage for 4 years. He is growing into quite the young gentleman and is doing well in school. Everyone has a story, and this is ours. It was January 6, 2005 in Korea. We were born 11 weeks early and only weighed 2 pounds each. We spent a long time in the hospital and no one was sure if we would live. When we were 4 months old, our birth mother had to put us up for adoption because she couldn't take care of us by herself. Even though our birth mother couldn't keep us, it was all in God's plan. Here in America, God had put adoption into our parents' hearts. They were preparing for one boy from Korea, but God had brought them a double miracle. On November 21st, 2005, we came home to our new family. We are thankful that we live in a family that loves us. We are thankful that we homeschool and can learn about God every day. We are thankful for our church, our teachers, and our friends.
Adoption isn't really something that we thought about. We were approaching our 50s, and we were thinking more of traveling and cruises. We've already raised 6 kids of our own, but when a family member approached us in November of 2006 to take a baby into our home that had been placed in DHS custody, we didn't really hesitate. So after filling out tons of paperwork and numerous visits by social workers and psychologists, and attending 6 weeks of parenting classes, we were approved to be foster parents. We went to the hospital in January of 2007 and picked Layla up, and it was definitely a family affair. I had my sisters, nieces, nephews, our own grown children were there to welcome this little baby girl into our house. After about 14 months of court hearings and visits by social workers, we were asked to adopt Layla, which we did without any doubts. Shortly after that, when Layla was about 18 months old, we were told that she had a baby sister, Lily. And Lily was born in May, and then in September of 2008, she came to our home.
These little girls they definitely changed our plans. But I think it's God giving us a do-over. So we're doing things that we really didn't think we could do, and being, trying to keep up. I just wish I had a bathroom hidden somewhere. Living with all these girls, I don't have a place to go.
Anyway, these 2 little girls have definitely changed our lives. They never considered that we were too old or that we would have enough energy to raise them, take care of them the way that they wanted to be taken care of. And one of my favorite stories was last year I went to one of Lily's school functions, and she brought her little friend over and introduced her and said, "This is my mom." And the little girl looked at me and then looked at Lily and said, "Are you sure? Because she looks more like a grandma." And Lily's like, "Nope, that's my mom." And that's kind of when I realized that really a child doesn't look at age. They just want somebody that's going to love them and take care of them, open their home to them, and be there for them every step of the way. And that's our story. What's yours?
After the birth of our 3rd child, we found out that we couldn't have any more children. I should have been really happy that we had 3 healthy, beautiful kids, but something in me just couldn't be content. And I really took it to God, and I prayed, and I asked Him to take that desire away from me. And instead, He told me in a voice that was so clear, "I'm not finished building your family." 3 years passed, and we were in church, and somebody in one of our Sunday school classes said that their family member had passed away and had left 5 boys, and they were afraid they were going to go into the foster care system. We were really touched by their story, and even though we didn't know them, we went up front and we prayed one of the most dangerous prayers we've ever prayed before. "God, whatever you have for us, we're willing." 3 years passed. After 6 years, God finally started to reveal His plan for adoption for us. We had no idea we would adopt internationally when we started. We started to fill out paperwork and had a big family meeting with our kids. We'd had them praying for about 3 years how they would feel about adoption. we sat down and we talked to them again, just saying, okay, we're ready to fill out the paperwork. And they were all excited. They were high-fiving each other, and Rachel, who was about 13 at the time, turned to Jim and said, well, it's about time. I've been praying for this forever. And we just all laughed.
During the process of the adoption, one of the first things we did, you fill out paperwork that is kind of like filling out a wish list. You have to go down through and indicate whether you will accept or not accept, or maybe, or if you would consider children with certain disabilities. And one of them was, some of the question was, would you accept sibling group? Would you accept multiples? And it just, at that time, I didn't say anything to Michelle at the time, but I knew when we were filling out that questionnaire and we got to those questions, God laid on my heart that we would be adopting twins, even though I knew we were adopting from Korea, and that did not happen. At that time, no one was getting twins adopted out of Korea, but it just, I felt at that time that we would be getting twins. Like I said, I didn't say anything to Michelle, but when we got the call several months later that they had twins for us to consider, I was not the least bit surprised, because I felt like God had already revealed to me that we would be adopting twins when the time came.
A couple of different Sundays in Korea. We were there 10 days. The last Sunday we were there happened to be Thanksgiving in Korea. And we were sitting in a church, thousands of people. And the pastor's message was we were to be thankful for the little and the big things from God. And all I could think of was how blessed we were that God had entrusted these boys to us. The end of November came and we got to fly home. We actually touched down the Monday before Thanksgiving here in the U.S. And it was just amazing. I had dared to pray and ask God if He could please let our child be home by Christmas. And I thought that was a pretty big prayer. And He answered it by letting our boys be home by Thanksgiving. I think that was probably the first Thanksgiving that I really understood what it meant for God to adopt us into His family. And the thing I think that God made really plain to me in our adoption journey was that only God can take complete strangers from different sides of the world and bring them together and make them a family.
Everyone has a story. What's yours?